In a world filled with complexity, it's not always easy to spot when someone harbors harmful intentions. Whether it's at work, in relationships, or even within your social circles, the Stoics had timeless wisdom to help us identify toxic or evil people. Today, we'll explore 5 key signs that you're dealing with an evil person, all rooted in Stoic philosophy and relatable to modern life in the USA. Chapter 1. Manipulation, the deceptive charm of the evil person. Evil doesn't always wear a mask of aggression. Sometimes, it comes cloaked in charm and manipulation. According to Stoicism, one of the most dangerous traits of an evil person is their ability to manipulate others for their own gain. In today's fast-paced world, especially in the workplace or personal relationships, you may encounter individuals who appear kind and well-meaning but subtly manipulate situations to serve their own interests. Example: workplace context. Take a toxic coworker who constantly praises your work, but behind closed doors, they take credit for your ideas. Manipulation can often look like flattery on the surface but is really a calculated move to control others. In the Stoic view, this deception distorts your perception of reality and can leave you questioning your own judgment. Stoic thought. The Stoics taught us to practice discernment and remain grounded in reality. As Seneca said, a good character is the only guarantee of everlasting, carefree happiness. Be mindful when someone's actions don't match their words. Chapter 2. Lack of empathy, the cold-hearted nature of evil. Empathy is what connects us as human beings. It's the ability to feel for others, to show compassion. But a key sign of an evil person is their lack of empathy. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of virtue, especially the virtue of compassion, yet evil individuals often show a cold indifference to the suffering or needs of others. Example: relationship context. Consider a friend who dismisses your struggles or downplays your emotions. When you're going through a hard time, they seem unaffected or even annoyed. This cold-hearted behavior isn't just hurtful, it's a sign of someone who lacks the fundamental empathy needed for a healthy relationship. Stoic thought. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." A lack of empathy is a direct contradiction to living virtuously. Stoicism reminds us to seek relationships that nurture empathy and to be wary of those who disregard the feelings of others. Chapter 3. Consistent dishonesty, a life built on lies. Honesty is one of the cornerstones of a virtuous life, according to Stoic philosophy. But evil people thrive on dishonesty. Their world is often built on a web of lies, used to manipulate and control. In modern American society, dishonesty can take many forms, from misleading social media personas to blatant deception in personal and professional relationships. Example: social media context. Imagine someone who constantly fabricates stories online to portray a false image of themselves. While it might seem harmless at first, their dishonesty eventually starts to affect those around them. This deceit can hurt others' reputations, lead to broken trust, and leave a trail of emotional damage. Stoic thought. For the Stoics, living truthfully is essential. Epictetus said, "We cannot control the impressions others form about us and the efforts they choose to engage in." Evil individuals rely on lies, but a Stoic knows the value of integrity, even when the truth is uncomfortable. Chapter 4. Manipulating guilt, playing the victim to control you. Evil people often play the victim to manipulate others into feeling guilty. This tactic allows them to shift the blame and avoid responsibility. In modern American culture, guilt manipulation is often seen in toxic relationships, whether it's with friends, family members, or romantic partners. Example: family context. Think of a family member who constantly makes you feel responsible for their unhappiness. No matter what you do, they always manage to turn the tables, making you feel like you're not doing enough. This type of emotional manipulation leaves you drained, constantly doubting yourself. Stoic thought. The Stoics teach us to take responsibility for our own actions and to guard against the manipulations of others. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Don't let guilt become a tool used against you. Chapter 5. Lack of accountability, refusal to own their actions. The final sign you're dealing with an evil person is their absolute refusal to take accountability for their actions. They are quick to blame others for their mistakes, or worse, deny their wrongdoings altogether. In today's society, this lack of accountability is prevalent in both personal relationships and corporate environments. Example: professional context. Imagine a colleague who always avoids responsibility for their errors, shifting the blame onto others or making excuses. This lack of accountability creates a toxic work environment where trust is eroded, and team morale suffers. Stoic thought. In Stoicism, personal accountability is key to living a virtuous life. As Seneca stated, it is not because things are difficult that we do not dare, but because we do not dare that things are difficult. When people refuse to take accountability, they reject an essential aspect of self-growth. Evil thrives where responsibility is denied. Final reflection. Now that you know the 5 key signs of an evil person, remember that Stoicism teaches us to remain grounded, rational, and virtuous in the face of adversity. While we cannot always control the people we encounter, we can control how we respond. Keep practicing discernment, empathy, and integrity in your own life, and you'll be better equipped to handle toxic or harmful individuals. Have you encountered someone like this in your life? Let us know your experience in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more insights on Stoicism and how it applies to modern life in the USA. Bonus section. How to protect yourself from toxic individuals. As a bonus for reaching the end of this video, here are some Stoic-inspired strategies to protect yourself from toxic or evil individuals. Set clear boundaries. Don't allow their manipulations to cross into your personal space. Maintain your own virtue. Don't let their behavior influence you negatively. Detach emotionally. Stay rational and don't engage in emotional battles with them. Asterisk. Setting clear boundaries. A Stoic's first line of defense. One of the most critical steps in protecting yourself from toxic people is learning how to set boundaries. The Stoics believed in maintaining personal sovereignty, having control over one's own mind and actions. When you're dealing with someone manipulative or harmful, boundaries act as your first line of defense. Example: relationship context. In today's fast-paced culture, you may feel pressured to constantly be available, whether it's through work, social media, or family obligations. But when someone in your life, like a toxic friend or partner, repeatedly oversteps your personal boundaries, it's crucial to take a step back. For example, if someone constantly drains your emotional energy with their problems but never reciprocates support, it's time to set limits on your availability. Stoic thought. Epictetus taught, "No man is free who is not master of himself." In this context, mastering yourself means being assertive about what you will and will not tolerate in relationships. If someone is constantly trying to manipulate or control you, remember that you have the power to say no. Setting boundaries is not about rejecting people but about protecting your own peace of mind. Maintaining virtue in the face of toxicity. Stoicism places immense value on virtue, living a life of integrity, courage, and wisdom. When confronted with toxic or evil individuals, it's easy to get drawn into their negativity. Whether they try to manipulate your emotions, deceive you, or undermine your success, maintaining your virtue is key to staying unaffected by their actions. Example: workplace context. Imagine you're dealing with a toxic boss who constantly criticizes your work, takes credit for your ideas, or belittles you in front of others. While it might feel natural to respond with anger or retaliation, the Stoic approach would be to stay calm, focused, and to maintain your integrity. Don't compromise your work ethic or character because of someone else's negative behavior. Stoic thought. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Instead of engaging in emotional conflict, led by example. Continue to act virtuously, no matter how difficult the situation. Over time, toxic individuals will find it harder to manipulate or provoke you if you remain calm, rational, and grounded in your own principles. Emotional detachment. Staying rational in chaotic situations. One of the greatest tools in the Stoics' arsenal is emotional detachment. This doesn't mean being cold or indifferent, but rather learning how to separate your emotions from external events or people. Toxic individuals often feed off emotional responses, whether it's guilt, anger, or fear. But by practicing emotional detachment, you can avoid being pulled into their negative energy. Example, family context. In family dynamics, it's common to encounter toxic patterns where certain individuals try to guilt-trip you or push emotional buttons to control you. Perhaps a sibling constantly plays the victim, using your empathy to manipulate you into doing things you're uncomfortable with. In these cases, emotional detachment doesn't mean cutting them out of your life, but rather, detaching yourself from their emotional hooks. Stoic thought. Epictetus advised, "It is not events that disturb people, it is their judgments concerning them." By reframing the situation, understanding that you cannot control the behavior of others but can control your reaction, you free yourself from emotional manipulation. Instead of reacting emotionally, respond rationally and with clear-headedness. Practicing mindfulness. Observing without judging. The Stoics were among the earliest proponents of what we now call mindfulness, being fully present in the moment without allowing external events or people to disturb your peace. Mindfulness allows you to observe the behavior of toxic individuals without getting emotionally entangled. When you approach a situation mindfully, you become an observer rather than a participant in their toxic games. Example, social media context. With the rise of social media, it's easier than ever to get pulled into negativity, whether it's through harmful comments or comparing yourself to toxic influencers. Practicing mindfulness allows you to step back and see these interactions for what they are, temporary and often inconsequential. For instance, instead of reacting to a negative comment from a toxic person online, you can simply observe it, acknowledge its existence, and then move on without engaging. Stoic thought. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the importance of observing without judgment. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. In other words, the moment you decide not to let someone's toxic behavior affect you, you regain your peace of mind. Fostering emotional resilience. Strengthening your inner world. One of the most powerful defenses against toxic individuals is emotional resilience, the ability to withstand stress, pressure, and emotional attacks without being overwhelmed. Stoicism teaches us that while we cannot control external events or people, we can cultivate inner strength to protect our mental and emotional well-being. Example, daily life context. Imagine you're going through a stressful period at work or in your personal life, and a toxic person in your circle tries to add to that stress by creating drama or making demands. By building emotional resilience, you can weather these storms without losing your center. Instead of reacting, you stay composed, knowing that no external force can truly affect your inner peace unless you allow it to. Stoic thought. As Seneca famously said, sometimes even to live is an act of courage. Emotional resilience is about cultivating courage in the face of adversity, knowing that your strength comes from within. By practicing resilience, you become less vulnerable to the attacks or manipulations of toxic individuals. Thanks for watching. Remember, by applying Stoic principles, you not only shield yourself from toxic individuals but also live a life of strength, virtue, and wisdom. Stay strong, and